In a perfect world, we would have this sex offender turned over that's in the country illegally.
We're back with the big deal. Immigration enforcement has taken on new urgency in Southern California, with federal agents making more arrests and pushing deeper into neighborhoods than we have seen in years. Spectrum News got exclusive access to observe an early morning operation in Los Angeles, offering a rare look behind the scenes and a look at how U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement conducts its work and why the issue remains so contentious.
My target closes the gate.
Before most of Los Angeles has woken up,
And then he comes to the passenger side.
officers from the ICE Sex Crimes Unit are plotting an undercover operation.
One's gonna come through the back, one's gonna come to the front. I think we're gonna take them down here.
To detain and possibly remove individuals that they have confirmed to be living in the U.S. without legal status.
So the officers will typically do between 8 and 10 hours, man hours, of just the surveillance, the case prep, the investigative work.
This assistant field director is giving us a rare look at how this unit operates. We've agreed to not show his face or use his name, as ICE officials say they are concerned about officers' safety.
Be aware of your surroundings.
Tensions between bystanders and officers have often run high.
Get your fat dumb in your car!
The Department of Homeland Security citing a 1,000% increase in assaults on ICE officers. And just last September, a Dallas ICE office came under sniper fire.
The climate that we're in right now, unfortunately, has made it very difficult for us to do our job. And it is scary for the officers and their families as well.
He has been with ICE since the agency's creation in 2003, an immigrant himself from El Salvador who served in the U.S. military. He says over 2 decades, his job has been impacted by California's embrace of sanctuary policies, notably the California Values Act, which limits local police from working with federal immigration officials.
There was a time where law enforcement did cooperate. We had a team within that cooperated with our local law enforcement in the jails that would routinely vet these cases to establish if that person's here in the country illegally or not, and then turn them over to ICE.
But without that cooperation, ICE says more resources are needed to make arrests, including today's target, a 22-year-old national of Guatemala, convicted by a California court for lewd acts with a child under 14 years old last year, but released on 5 years probation.
In a perfect world, we would have this sex offender turned over that's in the country illegally, turned over to immigration.
As dawn breaks, the officers wait for him to leave for work.
Copy, that's a solid copy.
When the radio signals it's time to move in earlier than expected, and several unmarked vehicles rush down a normally quiet South LA street. A young man steps out of the intercepted car, but it is not who officers were looking for. He is detained for being in the country illegally, and officers quickly get back in place.
So we'll take that one.
Okay.
It's a fast reset for the unit that minutes later stops this vehicle.
In the back, move in the back.
What up? Get your hands up.
The driver cooperates with officers while the passenger becomes agitated.
This is what I got.
The man ICE is looking for is sitting in the back seat. Officers quickly put him into handcuffs.
Say? Okay.
In a mix of Spanish and English, he is shown an arrest order and confirms his identity. Meanwhile, the driver admits he's in the country illegally and becomes another collateral arrest. The whole operation taking just 5 minutes before officers are back on the move. The streets of Los Angeles became one of the first flashpoints for immigration enforcement under the Trump administration, with several operations by ICE and other immigration agencies making national headlines. The Department of Homeland Security has set its eyes on making 3,000 arrests nationwide a day, dedicating more resources, including an unprecedented $170 billion budget increase over 4 years. But a new UCLA poll suggests that the president's supporters in California are divided over certain policies, with younger voters disagreeing that individuals who've lived in the U.S. for a long time should be deported. That's unlikely to change the White House's hardline view, and this ICE field officer says arrests will continue.
The tempo, the cadence that we're in is not going to change. The priorities will not change.
Back at the ICE offices, the morning ends with a perp walk to processing. Inside, phone numbers to local consulates greet the nearly 40 people who are brought in daily. For detainees who plan to fight their case, the wait to see an immigration judge averages 1 month. But those agreeing to return to their native country could be on a flight within days, leaving behind the city that has become a front line in America's immigration debate.
Spectrum News reporter Ryan Thompson joins me now from Los Angeles to talk about his exclusive ride-along. And Ryan, great reporting. What does the data tell us about who ICE is targeting in Los Angeles?
Well, Errol, it's a mix of people with criminal records, like you saw just there, but also people who are picked up as part of these collateral arrests. The most recent data set we have from the time they ramped up enforcement in June to mid-October suggests that, yes, 2,800 people with criminal records have been arrested by the Los Angeles office, but there are also 3,600 people over that amount who do not have a criminal record. And, you know, part of this is coming from people that are collateral arrests, but also those worksite enforcement operations. Here in Los Angeles, car washes have been a major flashpoint for that. We've seen them hit countless times. Data suggests over 100 times since June. And so that is where a lot of these people who don't have criminal records, who are showing up to work every single day, are being taken in by immigration officials.
I found it interesting, Ryan, that when the officer told you that he's afraid of being identified for doing his job, amid all the tension and the protests against ICE operations, meanwhile, there have been increased efforts around the country to get ICE agents to stop using masks when they're making arrests. What is the latest on that question in California?
Yeah, there are two notable legislative efforts happening out west here in Los Angeles. First of all, there is a statewide bill that was signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom that is called the No Secret Police Act. It really restricts and bans both federal and local law enforcement, including ICE, from wearing those ski masks we saw in the piece, but really anything that obscures their face. There's also a separate effort being done by the Los Angeles County supervisors, and that made some headway this week. But regardless, both of these efforts are going to face major legal challenges, with the Department of Homeland Security threatening that they will battle these out in court. The statewide bill set to take effect, Errol, in January, but it's likely going to be pushed back because of impending legal challenges. Not to mention, it's going to be something that's very, very difficult for anyone to enforce.
And then in our last minute, Ryan, even with the targeting, it looked like those agents you were traveling with got two bystanders who may be subject now to deportation, in addition to the person they were actually looking for, who seemed like a fairly dangerous character. Do they have an incentive to do that? Were they happy about getting three when they were really just looking for one person?
Yeah, going into it, they expected that to be the outcome, that people would be picked up that they didn't intend to actually get that day. They see their mission as arresting anyone who is in the country illegally, anyone that they come across, even if it's outside the scope of someone who has a criminal record. They see being in the country illegally as a criminal offense, and that is why they are arresting them. They didn't acknowledge, even though we've heard it time and time again from the administration in Washington, that there is this emphasis to try and ramp up arrests to near 3,000 per day nationwide across the United States. And now I think what we're seeing is that pressure trickling down to the field officers here in Southern California who are trying to pick up anyone that is potentially an immigration.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage, and click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.